Today I rise on a point of order to apprise this House of an issue that I recently came across when attempting to have a petition certified by the Clerk of Petitions. Now, a few weeks ago, I received a number of petitions from constituents in my beautiful riding of Alderman Norfolk, calling on the government to remove Clause 14 from Bill C-51 so that the rights of individuals to freely practice their religion will continue to be protected. Now, while most of these petitions were certified and sent back to my office for tabling, there was one petition that was not approved. According to the Office of the Clerk of Petitions, this petition was rejected because it did not meet the usual paper size requirement under Standing Order 36(1.1c. Now, Mr. Speaker, while the petition contained all of the required information as stated in the standing orders, it was printed on ledger-size paper and was determined to be not of the, and I quote, usual size, which is why it was rejected. Now, Mr. Speaker, what exactly does usual size mean? Some people would interpret it as letter or legal size paper, which is exactly what was decided upon by the clerk's office. But usual size does not mean the same to all Canadians. As I'm sure you're well aware, people who have vision impairments use a larger font and paper in order to read the text. To them, ledger-size paper may be the usual size. Now, as someone who was legally blind at one point, and as the former Minister for Disabilities, I regularly encourage many institutions and organizations to adopt more accessible, friendly policies. And so it's very disappointing that this House hasn't been taking the same approach. Not only does this guideline fail to provide accessibility to Canadians who are visually impaired, but we are the only jurisdiction in the Commonwealth that has this requirement. I looked into how the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and the province of Ontario handled their petitions. In each of these jurisdictions, they have no paper size requirements. The closest was the province of Ontario, where the clerk's office recommends that the paper size be 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14 inches. But as long as it contains the prayer and at least one name, address, and signature, the petition can be tabled by any member of the legislature. Even our very own Senate does not have requirements on the paper size of the petition that is tabled. And Mr. Speaker, on page 1066 of O'Brien and Bosk, footnote 32 states that prior to the adoption of this rule, petitions of unusual style were presented from time to time and judged by the Clerk of Petitions to be in accordance with prevailing requirements as to form. The annotated standing orders at page 110 seem to suggest that this requirement and definition of usual style came to be in 1986. In 2004, after the election of Stephen Fletcher to the House of Commons, the first quadriplegic to be elected, a new standing order was adopted, Standing Order 1.1. Standing Order 1.1 states, and I quote, "The Speaker may alter the application of any standing or special order or practice of the House in order to permit the full participation in the proceedings of the House of any member with a disability." End of quote. And Mr. Speaker, while I appreciate this standing order addresses specifically a member with a disability, the spirit of this relatively new standing order could be applied to me, since I am prevented from representing my constituents in participating in proceedings of the House of Commons, not because of my disability, but because of the disabilities of my constituents who need larger faith. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Here.